Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So you've probably seen this news circulating around a bit if you're in any fiber art, yarn, craft community. I wanted to touch on this. I needed a little bit of time. I've been wanting to touch on it ever since this news came out, but I just needed a little bit of time to kind of gather my thoughts and figure out exactly what I wanted to say. So before I really get into it though, none of my videos are ever really scripted, just because I kind of just want to come on here and go with the flow. And that's also what this video is, um, because I'm just trying to share my thoughts. And there are a lot of other videos out there that are more video essay like on this topic. So if this isn't your cup of tea and you want something more video essay like, go for it. Go to those ones. Again, this is just me sharing my thoughts on this. So I wanted to talk about what exactly happened, and I did share like a majority of that post at the beginning of this video, so you can kind of, if you haven't seen it, you can kind of see what Hobbii said. Hobbii, Hobbii, however you say it. And honestly, like, I've never gotten yarn from them. I have been interested from time to time about potentially getting yarn from them, but like the title says, at this point, I'm no longer interested because of this. And I probably would have if this hadn't come up. I probably would have gotten one or two skeins from them if this hadn't come up. But basically, I'm going to read through what the post said, even though I had a majority of it in my at the beginning of my video, and I've linked down um, a couple of videos and then a Reddit thread, which I will be going through. So the post is, let's be honest, none of us have 100% control over AI. That is this image AI. You can see the image linked on the Reddit thread and in some of the videos. Again, I'm recording. I don't know if I've actually talked about it on this channel, but I do record on my phone, and I'm still kind of figuring out how to edit and add in images on my phone. Um, I use iMovie just because right now it's free. It's what I have on my phone, and it's easy for me to just get things done on it. So anyway, so it's an image. The image itself was like I guess it's for like a little thing, like a little event that they're gonna have. Um, and they're gonna have like some discussions, conversations about dilemmas and stuff. So that was what the image in question was about. So is this image AI? No doubt about it. At Hobbii, we use AI a lot. That's the problem. It has clear perks like saving our tech team from long, awkward photo shoots, even if the consequence is a photo that looks a bit more staged than casual. It hopefully gets the job done. Not really. Um, Beyond the quick wins and the fun images, there's a real conversation to be had. Right now, the industry narrative is obsessed with convenience faster, cheaper, automated, but at what cost? As we integrate LLMs deeper into our tech stacks, we're facing a shift that most corporate posts ignore. The steady trade-off between scaling and sovereignty. At Hobbii, we're constantly navigating three conflicting perspectives: the excitement of building and playing with new possibilities, strategic concern over losing control over our own data foundation, the human question: what does this do to our autonomy and how we develop knowledge? There are no polished slides for this. And then the rest of it, there are no easy answers or polished slides for this. Um, and then it goes on to say that's why our CTO, Thomas Cragg, is joining the panel Data, Drinks, and Dilemma on June 4th, together with Peter Sass-Renard. No pitches, just a raw conversation about the dilemmas we actually face when the hype clears. So the thing is, this is something that's been going around, and it's something that I talked about in, I think, let me double check when this video went up or when it will be going up, because I do have a video going up about like craft and AI, and it's already up on my Shannon Desktop channel. Um, so let's see. I'm trying to see when it'll go up on SC Crochet Studio. Um, one moment while I look into this. Okay, so I actually have it going up on SC Crochet Studio in June. I have to double check when it's going up on Shannon Does Stuff. Let me see. I think it might already be up on Shannon Does Stuff. Or maybe not. But I have it going up in June, and that's more in depth talk about AI with fiber crafts, yarn crafts, and other crafts. Um, and that video is going up in June on the first Sunday of June, which I believe is June 7th. But anyway, to get back on topic with this, it's like AI has absolutely no place in crafts and art and making art and creating art. And even if it's something as simple as removing a background, then that just kind of calls into question everything else about what you're creating and what you're making if you're using AI to do something so simple as removing background. Yes, even if you're not super familiar with like Photoshop or Illustrator, other apps like that that can help you remove the background manually without having to turn to AI. So and that's where it starts calling into question everything else that you're doing. Um, let's see. So the one post that I'm looking at where it shows this and that I linked down below, they go on to say after this post, they go on to say that I've been a true Hobbii true believer for a while, followed Bingle, and pretty much bought from them exclusively. But I think I'm done with them. I found this on LinkedIn, and the whole vibe has really put me off. It's the get the job done comment on using AI rather than photographers that has given me the creative ick towards them. I have two projects that need extra yarn from Hobbii, which I will get and cash in my huge points collection. But today is the day I try someone else for my new yarn. Can they can they train that Gen AI to buy their yarn when we've wandered off to a company that values human creativity? I wonder. And I mentioned the example in the description, and I'll tag her and I tagged her video as well. But Rachel from the Faded Wildflower Crochet, in her video, she talks about how her husband, I think he works in tech, but he had said that like there is no I in AI. It's not intelligent. It doesn't think for itself, which just leaves the artificial, the fakeness of it, and it's not real. And yes, you can get things done quicker with it, but it's not intelligent, it's not thinking for itself, and it's basically stealing content from other creators, from other pages, even if it's not like a craft creation, but it's stealing content from other arts, from other crafts, from other places. And at the end of the day, usually this is why it's stealing. Usually it's without consent from the sources, the original sources. And like honestly, like I can't say that I'm disappointed in Hobbii because I didn't have any real expectations. Like I said at the beginning of the video, or closer to the beginning of the video, like I've never used them. I have no feelings one way or the other about them, or I had no feelings one way or the other about them before this. And I was interested in potentially trying out. I hadn't, due to my usual go-to being Michael's and Joann's when Joann's was still open. And honestly, like at this point, now that this has come out, like I'm not gonna do it. It doesn't matter that that post that they confirmed was AI. It doesn't matter that that photo wasn't related to a specific craft or a specific image of crochet or knit or another craft. It's the fact that they're so willing to use AI to create that image. And again, like I said, it calls into question everything else that they've posted. And the Wildflower Crochet, Rachel, also mentions this, and I agree with her because I read through it a couple of times. But the post, the post doesn't really sound like a real human wrote it. Maybe there was some, and maybe it's like kind of like a 50-50 where a little bit was written by a human, a little bit was written by AI. But it doesn't sound like it was written partially. It it doesn't sound like it was completely written by a human. So, like, again, which calls into question everything else that they've done. So, and then, so just to read some of the comments, um, so another comment said, one comment says, reposting this from a similar post for wider awareness. I used to work at Hobbii, short tenure, and this does not surprise me in the slightest. The entire C-suite, founders, and board are absolutely incompetent. The CPO is truly a bully. She was one of the worst bosses I ever had, and the previous CMO, Morton, was a stubborn, ridiculously egotistical, and insanely incompetent jerk. I literally got warnings in my first week there just to be aware of him, how I speak of him, and how to deal with his weirdness because he's been with Hobbii from the beginning and he does what he wants. Ugh, that's not good. The warehouse workers are miserable. They truly do not give a fuck about their employees. Recently went through redundancies, and I'm glad I got out of there. Working there put me in a deep, deep depression hole that took months. That took me months after handing in my notice and bailing to get out of. Please do not support this company. They do not care about you or their employees. Spend your hard-earned money elsewhere on a company that deserves it. Another comment says, I can't believe that they even used an LLM to write this. As far as I can tell, AI can even tell the difference between crochet and knitting. Yeah, that's very true. Um, yeah, I'm salty about this. I went to Hobbii first, first for a lot of things. Very glad my festival fest didn't actually get traction, or I'd be in trouble now, haha. And now I'm not interested at all. They've also been bought out by private equity, so I don't think there are going to be good things happening to them. The original poster said over a week later, Hobbii are posting AI product images. I can't seem to post the image here, but go look at their socials for unicorn imagery and it's fully AI. And someone responds to that comment saying, I can't see what you mean, but maybe they deleted it. Let me see. And maybe I'll include it at this point. One moment. I may be saying one thing, but I'm not sure if that's a photo in question, so I'm not actually going to include it. Because I don't want to put something up and be like, this is AI when it's not AI. So someone commented saying, I'm switching to loose ends yarn in Montreal and small indie dyers only. Ugh. The last thing we need is more AI slop. Time to cash in all my points and never buy from them again. I find it especially disgusting when companies selling to other artists literally turn around and screw them over by using AI, and then proceed to unapologetically defend that choice. I'm so tired of seeing AI text everywhere and images. Everything looks the same. It makes me want to crawl into a hole and never come out. Yeah, another commenter says, dude, product photography requires talent. AI does not have that talent. Again, like I said, referencing Rachel's husband's comment, there is no I in AI. AI is not intelligent. Let's see. Let's go through. As another Hobbii believer, I shouldn't be surprised that they announced this after laying off 50% of their staff, including our beloved Matt, at the end of their affiliate program. So exhausting, and my favorite cotton is from them. At least I'm well stocked up from Black Friday, but no more from them. After they laid off the staff, the quality of the bingo went way down. The new host is obviously a Verome trying to run it by herself. I just heard about the the AI thing, and I can't even delete my accounts because the app is broken and I can't find the button on the website. Oh boy. So like everything is going down with Hobby, and like Rachel said that she says Hobby as Hobie because it's too close to Hobby Lobby, but at the same time, like I can get that. And honestly, if this didn't come out, I might have started pronouncing it that way too. If they weren't using AI and this didn't come out and this didn't happen, but at this point, I'm okay with it being associated with Hobby Lobby. And honestly, like if you have Michaels in your area or relatively nearby, try to do from Michaels, try to do local independent yarn shops, try to do into local independent buyers because that is where you'll probably get the high independent yarn shops and independent wool dyers, yarn dyers. And yes, that can be kind of expensive. However, because it's a process, but it's better than supporting companies who will use AI in their products and for their products. Again, even if it's something as simple as removing the background. So it's just it's a situation of like I said, it begs the question, calls into question everything else you've been doing and everything else that you've potentially made, even if you've made it with your own hands using yarn. And if you're doing something so simple that can be done very simply and effectively without AI, but you're using AI, then especially when you're a big company that can't afford to pay workers, that's where it's like that's where it gets a little bit sketchy. So I'm gonna stick with Michaels, and there's a couple of yarn shops that I know that are close to me that I want to try out, but it's gonna be a little bit before I can get to them. Um, and honestly, if you've used Hobie, however you say it, um, if you've used it, now might be a good time to reconsider stopping your support of Hobby. Um, and at the end of the day, this is probably the best choice for not just for crafts and arts and crafts and people, but for the planet as well. Because it's like it's just one more company that's filtering into the AI and into the environmental issue and issues regarding AI. So I'm gonna keep this video short because, like I said, I do have a video coming out in June, but I wanted to talk about it now and share about it now because it's going on right now. Um, but with all that said, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion about this. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.